Welcome in, everybody, to another episode of Scurry and The Scrub. I am your host, Jordan Scurry, here with my co-host and dear frenemy, Matt DeMarinis. We are here to, I guess that's how we're going to go today. That's how I'm feeling today.
Dear frenemy. We are sports frenemies, aren't we? We have a lot of rivalries, don't we?
Yeah. I think starting with the, Red Sox Yankees thing, I think that starts off the frenemy vibe, but
for sure.
I mean, we can go from there, but excited to be here today. Got a lot to talk to you guys about. Got a lot to look back on and a lot to look forward to. I'm excited. But first, Matt, how you doing? How's Nebraska? How's the cold? Talk to me.
Today the cold was less impactful. It's starting to warm up a little bit. I don't know.
Really?
I don't understand the weather in Nebraska anymore. I don't think you would either. It feels like Texas now.
Really? Oh, don't say that. Don't say that.
I just don't feel like winter is winter anymore in Nebraska. So
interesting. See, that's why I asked, because we just got hit with snow. We got hit for like 2 feet of snow on Friday.
Oh, really? Wow.
Yeah. So we were snowed in Friday, and roads are all gross and icy right now. That time of year. So I was wondering if it was just the same out there. Had to get my, Nebraska update.
We've only had one snow. It was the day Creighton played Marquette. And I think it snowed we got, I think 3 inches. I shoveled 3 inches off the driveway. I think that's what it was. It wasn't that bad.
So there hasn't been any like real snowstorms out there?
No.
Okay. Wait on it. There's always a few.
I don't know, man. We're gonna be in the 50s like the next.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, we don't even have that. It's still 30s out here. See, that's what I mean. I used to say it all the time that Boston's low-key colder, but maybe it was just because I don't know. Boston just gets more snow. I still think Nebraska.
Yeah. I'm just saying, I think climate change has hit the Cornhusker state, because I know last summer felt just dog dead tired hot. Like you would mow for like 10 minutes and feel disgusting. You're just like, good God. Your grass wouldn't grow. You water it, it just turned, yellow and colorless. And it's like,
I used to say,
we're in Texas, man. It just feels like Texas weather.
I used to call Nebraska when people would ask me what the weather's like. I said it was the land of the extremes. It was either extremely cold or extremely hot. So that was my take.
The land of the extremes. I like it. Yeah. Yeah, so we're gonna talk some Big East hoops. It's been a minute. Jordan went on vacation.
It's been a minute.
He literally went on vacation. He's one of those dudes who will go to the warm weather climate for holidays, right? So
no, I had to.
Took the family down to Florida.
It was too cold. It's been too cold out here. It gets dark real early. I was supposed to have a trip for work, back in November that got postponed. So, I had to get to the warm weather for a few days, but I feel rejuvenated. I'm back. I'm here. Yeah. I'm ready to talk Big East ball. We have a lot of games coming up too. I'm excited. I'm gonna be able to make a few down my way. So
nice. This is good, because there was a lot of pauses, right? On the men. First of all, it just started on the men's side, and the women were just flying along. And then all of a sudden, it started hitting the women too.
Yeah.
So I think we've only missed 20 or so. I don't even think we've missed. I think there's been 15 games in the last 3 weeks. So we don't have.
I think it was good though. That's why
pretty quick.
Yeah, we can definitely get caught up, and I think it's good that we took our time where we did, because the Big East kind of had to flush itself out at the beginning here. So now, we thought 3 games in, we would be like, okay, we have a sample size, but then all the pauses happened and everything, and so now about 5 or so games in is definitely giving us a better sample size to be able to riff off each other.
Yeah, so the good thing for us is that we labeled this a Big East centric podcast. This portion of our seasonal platform, whatever we want to call it, like Jordan calls it seasons. I guess I'm on board with that.
Yes, sir.
So if we had gone Creighton heavy like we did last season, we'd be in a danger zone right now, because neither the men nor the women have gone on a pause yet. So we would still kind of be in that territory where we might have a 2-week break coming up somewhere. Knock on wood, hopefully not, but it's still out there in the wilderness waiting for us. So but we've gone heavy on this. So
yeah. Hopefully we've seen the worst of it, but you never know with this, right?
So where are we at here? What's the last thing we've should we just work in chronological order backwards? Like
Yeah, that's what I was just
starting
going to
with the
suggest.
drubbing against from the men's side. Let's start the men's side, the drubbing against Villanova, because I kind of want to know from the former player's perspective of like what how those sorts of games happen and how you recover from them, because it just, especially when you watch that one, it's like it didn't feel like Nova was spectacular in any area. It just felt like physically they brought a level of toughness to the game that Creighton wasn't ready to match, and it just like gradually got worse as the game got on, and that's why it got as ugly as it did. Like everything was hard for Creighton, and that's not going to get any easier. Like Providence is coming in on Tuesday, and like that's rock fight city. So like how does a game like that for Creighton happen, and how do they recover from it?
I mean, well, first, I've been thinking about this for a while because people have kind of like some of my friends I've been talking to just about who've been asking, what is Creighton's identity? Like, which team are they really? Are they the team that beat them at home, or are they the team that lost on the road? Which team are they closest to?
Mm-hmm.
And so obviously the truth is somewhere in the middle, right? And so I think if you take both games and just say that they like, I guess the big thing to me that stood out, like what you're saying about the game at Nova, was I feel like they really imposed their pace on that game. And similar to how at home, Creighton, like we imposed that pace the opposite way with the speed on other teams. I think they really imposed that pace on Creighton to a level that the young Jays just didn't really know how to handle, I guess, early on. And that was a tough environment, and Nova was coming prepared because, after you get beat by 20, you got to come with something, right? So I think that the truth of the matter is the team that Creighton is somewhere in between those games, but I don't really know what that is, because both games were just such an imposition of like both teams just asserting their style of play.
Yeah.
And they're so opposite in that way. It's hard to tell, really. I don't know. I think there's going to be more games that show, I guess, there's better games to show like what type of team and the real identity of a Creighton team. That's not a game I think you can take much from.
Yeah, I actually asked Mac about that today before there was a media scrum before practice today, and I think his overall, remedy to that was that the team just has to learn how to play through that physicality, because
yes,
the reality of the situation with this team is that they're probably a year away, maybe even more physically. So they need to, like, that's not a quick solution. Like Providence is going to come to hometown on Tuesday, and Jeremy Anderson can only work so many miracles to get these guys as strong as they need to be to deal with that type of situation. As well as they will when they're 22 years old as opposed to 18, right? So I'm kind of curious how that looks. Like how do you learn to play through a physical disadvantage? You know what I mean? Like what can you as a player do to just, is it just a mindset thing? Like, look, this is going to be a tough in your face type of grind it out every possession type of game. Like I'm curious to see how they handle that type of assignment, because you look at the schedule and it's just like, especially in the Big East, there's just few opportunities where the game opens itself up. Like there's just so many in your face, mature, tough teams in this league. Villanova, Providence, UConn, Seton Hall, even Butler's going to do it. Like Xavier, St. John's is inexperienced, but they're tough. They're like in your face. They press, like it's aggressive. Like I think that I imagine that at some point Creighton's going to get used to it, and that's kind of how they'll learn. But I don't know if the Villanova type performances that we saw last week, if they're over with yet. I think there's more of those in store, just because of the nature of the way this roster is put together from an experience standpoint.
Agreed, and especially because it takes so much time. Like when you were talking about like what this team can kind of do to make up for that, right? It's the guards having to crack down and be able to box out late in games and being able to like switch on like late switch onto a big and being able to excuse me, keep him out of the post and certain things like that. So it's gonna come with guys actually being in that situation and realizing that that's the moments that matter the most, because they might not be late in game, like I was saying, but they might be sometime like early in the first half where it was like, oh no, you switched onto a big, but you had to get him out of there. But and like that was a crucial point in the game. So
you have to win.
It's gonna come.
Yeah,
it's gonna come with those experiences of them, like the Providence or Xavier, who St. John's. It's gonna come with playing those teams and guys realizing, oh, we have to really play this physical for the whole game too, because I've seen spurts where I'm like, oh, they look great post defense. Beginning of the Villanova game, Jermaine Samuel's like off shooting jumpers from the post. I'm like, great, we'll live. And then later in the game, he's backing down. You're like, you know, that's where you gotta really dial in and be able to later in the game, you know, still have that same toughness that you were drilling all week in practice, being like, you know, they're gonna leg whip to the post. It's gonna happen. Are the guards gonna be able to give us something for a possession? Are you gonna be able to step up for that one possession? So it'll come with experience. These guys will find the same way they are learning offensively about which moments are actually bigger than they seem in games. It'll happen on the defensive end for sure.
Yeah, I'm really curious to see tomorrow night, because I just think it's, if there's one team that consistently, you know, kind of draws a line in the sand about like, hey, you know, there's like this would be a good, Marcus Zagorowski would understand this reference, but Max Holloway is like a really like just a dog of a fighter, right? And there'll be moments in a fight where he'll like literally point to the center of the octagon, like, meet me here. We're about to like get in a phone booth and like slug this out. Like Providence is that team in the Big East. Like they're like meet us right here and let's figure out who's a bigger, badder dog, basically. So tomorrow is going to be interesting because that's kind of always who Providence is. Like their identity from a basketball standpoint is less defined than just like, hey, we're going to fight you tooth and nail for 40 minutes. And if you're tough enough to deal with that, you know, you'll probably come out on top. But if you're not, it's going to be a long night for you. So I'm curious to see how this team handles that, because more so than the Nova game exposed that, the Providence game will do the same, right? Because they're just going to test you. They're going to test you mentally and physically more than any team would, right?
I was trying to think back, definitely to your point, but I was trying to think back to all the games, all of my Providence at, you know, Creighton games that I was a part of. And I think the key is when Providence shoots well in those games, they're in it. Like they'll be in it. Like they'll out rebound us. I don't think they've never out, even at home, I remember every game being like, we got it. Like, and it was a point Mac would obviously make, because they've always been a great rebounding team, right? Because they pack it in. And Mac was like, if you guys win, like, I forget which game it was, but he was like, if you guys win this rebounding battle and win this game, like, no practice tomorrow. And I don't think we won the rebounding battle.
That's some serious motivation though, right?
Yeah. But that's what I'm saying. It was serious motivation. We still didn't win the rebounding battle, I don't think. Don't quote me on that. But my point is that they're obviously always going to impose that strength, that crash in the glass, that physical presence. But it's when they shoot well that they're dangerous. So you can't let them do both. You can't let them impose their will, like offensively, physically, and also shoot well. So you got to take one away. And obviously shooting is shooting, but if they can limit them, I think from the 3-point line, they'll be fine and they'll have a handle win at home like we've been able to do before. But you just can't let them get hot. And even late in the game, can't let them heat up. That's especially where we messed up. Because you remember the Kyron Cartwright game winner?
David Duke went off in the second half. You guys won that one, but it was like it got messy for a minute, right? It was like, oh boy. Yeah. And
that's why they're a tough team to guard. Why? Because obviously you gotta have so much help in the paint, but you got to be able to get back out to shooters. So it's a tough task. They're a good team, but I think it'll be one of those games, like I was just saying, one of those games that'll help Creighton. Like they're going to need to be able to play that physical to win games in the Big East tournament. So it'll be a good addition to, like, you know, like we said last year, you know, collecting data. So this will add to that.
Yeah, this team's collecting a different like different set of data.
Way different type of hard drive. It's a whole different hard drive.
The hard drive's all different. It's like
yeah.
The software is totally different.
Software, hard drive. I'm not sorry. I'm not that.
I think it all works. It's all this. All right. I think we're using the right terminology. I think. I don't know.
All right, cool.
Yeah. It'll be here. It'll be interesting. I think it's funny because I'm not sure coming out of that week for the Jays, and we'll get to the rest of the Big East in a second, but coming out of that week for the Jays, like I don't know if people thought I don't know if people felt great about the Marquette win. I think it was more like a whew thing, like Creighton survived that game more than anything else because, Marquette feels like they're going to be a bottom half of the league Big East team, right? And then Creighton was up 17 and when they were down late and then they were down in overtime. And it's like, it felt like Creighton just kind of like survived that one. And then they got, dog walked by Nova. And it's like, ooh, like what was that week of basketball? Like is Creighton kind of like, kind of like on fumes right now or are they getting figured out? And as it turns out, like that Marquette win, actually, I feel differently about that than I did at the time. I know obviously you'd like to see Creighton, sustain the level of play they had going in. Like you're up 17 and you come out in the second half and bang 3 straight corner threes. Like you want to keep that flow going, right? But that's just not the reality of like Big East basketball. Like every team's got some fight in them, right? So Marquette, came back, credit to them for making it a game and taking control and feeling like they had an opportunity to win. But Creighton finding a way to win that game, starting with, Alex O'Connell's big 3 at the buzzer and Hawkins' big 3 on that pick and pop. Roddy's drive at the end to seal it. Like, and then that win is aged pretty well too. Like it was a toughness win for Creighton because they had to like dig deep to get it done. Right. And then Marquette just absolutely smashes Providence and Georgetown. And it's like, now they're like a top 50 net team all of a sudden. That's a quad 1 win for Creighton after like, 5 days of, more basketball. And it's like, all right, maybe that's a win of a week for the Jays, right? You went on the road at Marquette and at Villanova. And yeah, you got spanked. Like you got stepchild, like big brothered at Villanova for sure. So that probably didn't feel great, but you still went 1-1 at Marquette and Nova. And on the season, you got to split with Nova. Like that's everybody's in the Big East goal every single year is split with Nova, right? Like
absolutely. And think about it. And during the game, I feel great about it because it's aged, like you said, it's aged better than I thought because the Marquette game, I just felt good because I was like, that's fight. Like I was just like, that was, first of all, it was extremely fun game to watch, like super competitive.
Yeah.
I mean, very nerve-wracking, but like super competitive.
You're like, I might have been throwing appliances, but yeah.
Oh, I had a few in me at that point too. So I was like, but anyway, it was a fun game. And I was like, it showed me a lot of fight. I think my biggest takeaway was it from, they can win tough games on the road. Like that was it. Simple as that. But I was like, that shows a lot from a young team that was coming off a big win. Nova, that's a lot of fight. And then after that, obviously the Nova was, okay, you split, but you have a win against Nova, who was supposed to win it, right? Got one. Mm-hmm. And then you have a win against Marquette, who I've said is the roller coaster of the Big East. And the thing about roller coasters is they go up, down, and up again. So like they beat Providence. They can lose. They'll probably end up like losing to a bottom of the pack team at some point because they're very inconsistent to me.
For sure.
But they're good. They're still going to pull off some wins here with the rest of the season to go, and that win is going to.
I mean, they embarrassed Providence. That was like,
yeah, there aren't
many,
bad matchup. Bad matchup for Providence.
There aren't
terrible
many games that are like hard to watch from a spectator's perspective, where you're just like, I don't care about either of these teams. So there's no emotional investment there. But I'm watching that. I'm like, I feel really bad for Providence right now. They're getting like, this is embarrassing, because they're a good team. Like they were having a really good season. And it's like, I don't know. And even watching the Creighton Nova game, a day later, like I didn't feel like Creighton got what Providence got. You know what I mean?
Yeah, because that's the thing. Like I was saying,
it just felt different. It was like, this doesn't feel as bad.
Nova imposed like their will and their pace and just like what they wanted to do to Creighton. And it was just like in the second half, it just wore on them.
Mm-hmm.
I think the Marquette game was like a whop at halftime. Like it was halftime, and you were like, nah, Marquette's just feeling like, you know, those days you go and hoop with one of your boys who's never like really hitting shots, but then one day he's just killing. That was Marquette that day. They just they woke up, they had their Wheaties, and they were gonna win by 20. So
I think that there was like they were whipping them so bad that I think there was like a point where if you cut it off, like the last 11 minutes of the first half, Marquette could have like went scoreless and still been tied at halftime. That's how bad they were beating their ass. You know what I mean? They could have gone scoreless for like 11 straight minutes, scoreless. Like not field goal droughts. I'm talking like points. Like they could have not scored a point and still been tied at halftime. That's how bad they were beating their ass. Like it was that bad. And it's like, Jesus, so Providence fans had to watch that whipping because it basically was like 30 minutes. Like the first 10 was like, you know, it was just like a slow, sluggish kind of start, and then Marquette just whipped them. And it was like for 30 minutes, you just watch Providence just get embarrassed. So, yeah, I don't know. I'm certainly, from Creighton's perspective, you got to be happy that Providence got a game in between there, right? Because you wouldn't want them coming to Omaha off of that, right? Because that would be a really angry team coming in.
Be a very angry team.
Yeah.
Especially was Watson in foul trouble that game because he only had 8 points. I forgot what happened.
Dude, I don't even know. Like they disappeared before your eyes. It was like Marquette was playing 5-on-0 most of the time.
Yeah, because I remember it was like, it was close within the first 2 minutes, and then it was not for the rest of the game.
Right. Yeah. It was like, ooh, and it just got uglier and uglier. Like it felt like normally that's what Marquette women, like that's what the women's basketball score looks like between Marquette and Providence, but. Yeah, I never thought I would see that on the men's side. That was some wild shit. Like, oh my God, Providence, what are you doing? It's getting worse and worse.
Hey,
we called one of the timeouts too. We called a timeout. They do the in the huddle thing, and I think there was like maybe 11 minutes left in the second half, and they were down like 25 or something already. And he's just like, "Let's just get better. Let's just get better the rest of this game." It's like they got worse. It got worse.
That's the worst. You know the game is over when your coach comes to the huddle talking about let's just take every possession to get better. Let's focus on us. The coach, they're a whole other team out there. What do you mean focus on us? Worst advice ever.
Like those dudes are still dunking and flexing and talking shit.
Yeah.
Like, it's the focus on us right now.
Yeah, yo, coach, he talking about my mom. How are we supposed to focus on us? Come on.
Yeah, that was bad. And honestly, they struggled a little bit against St. John's, but they made that run at the end to get it together. So like, yeah, they at least got a feel good win coming into Omaha. So they won't be smarting that bad from it. But like, I don't know. I feel like let's start there because the way the Big East shakes out right now, Providence is the team that's sitting at the top of the standings in terms of like quad one wins. So maybe, I don't know. Do you feel any differently about the Friars now after watching what happened to them against Marquette, or what do you think? I don't know. What do you think? You still had questions about them. They were your team. Like
I do have questions about them still, because I think my thing with Providence is they will, and it's hard to say because they did have a very successful, non-conference like season, but
yeah,
I think when they get to Big East play, it's matchups. Their thing is matchups. If they're not playing a team that they can like match the style or impose their style on, they're not going to succeed. And so that's where I feel like they're going to struggle against the Marquettes, the Creightons, the Final Butler. I mean, who else would I think? Honestly, it's really just the teams that want to play fast. And so like the Marquette, Creighton, I don't know who else wants. St. John's kind of wants to play fast, but they can't really shoot.
Well, they did struggle in that one. So more importantly, like you think Tuesday night's a matchup advantage for the Jays. That's interesting.
Yes.
Is it because you think this Creighton team's more physical on the defensive end, and they?
Yeah, and especially at home, I think enables them to be able to play the pace that they want and control that a lot better. And so as long as they can get up their shots to the frequency like as usual, they'll be fine. But it's if it becomes a game where, you know, the post touches are resulting in basket after basket for Providence, or they're killing them on the glass and it's resulting in a lot of second chance points, that's not a game Creighton's going to have a favorable matchup in.
Yeah, this is going to be interesting for a couple of well, first of all, like Ryan Kalkbrenner, he's 100% good to go. Like, so he was hobbled with the ankle thing against Nova. But he
looked good early on.
He looked good in practice today. Like, this is probably what the best big man matchup he's faced this season, right?
Yeah, this will be a good one for him. Like, I think this will be a real first time we get to actually see him like bang in the post and actually like really contribute to the game. I think on the defensive side, like once it comes down to the end.
Yeah, that'll be a fun little matchup there. Nate Watson versus Ryan Kalkbrenner. Yeah, I don't know. I certainly think this Creighton team has shown, you know, some good fight defensively for a pretty consistent portion of the season. I think you can like to the point where you can probably confidently say it's part of who they are, you know, where you like, all right, what's Creighton going to do on a nightly basis? Well, I think they're going to sit down and guard. I think they're going to, you know, be tough on the defensive end. Like, I just think their toughness, where they kind of lack toughness, is offensively. Like, they're just, you know, when teams get physical with them and, you know, just break their rhythm or throw curveballs at them from whether it's a token little press or, you know, some kind of, you know, whether they take away their top two options defensively and make Creighton kind of, you know, go to options, you know, C and D. I think that's where the Jays struggle offensively. So that'll be, from this matchup standpoint, that's probably going to be where we'll have to see. Because, you know, you just know Providence is going to be prepared defensively. Like, that's what they always do, you know. So, like, can Roddy Andronikashvili and Trey Alexander and Arthur Kaluma, can they make enough plays, you know, with their matchups to the point where it just frees up Nembhard, Hawkins, O'Connell, just to like take a little bit of pressure off those guys, you know, like,
right.
Don't make those dudes have to score like 60 or 50, you know, just like make a play here or there that just makes Providence go, oh shit, we got more problems here tonight than just the top 2 or 3.
You know? And that's the game, right? That's the game, because it's going to be, I mean, when you get to Big East play at this point in the season, it's like your best 2 options are always going to cancel out, right? That's why I feel like it is. Like, your best 2 guys, right? I don't know, however you want to shake it out, right? Yeah. So for Creighton, it's going to be like Nembhard, and then I think like, I guess your transition 3s. I'll just say that. But is it's like you're saying, are the wing guys, role guys? Is Trey Alexander going to be able to give us enough? Is Arthur Kaluma going to get it going enough, especially like on the glass, like where he's able to help out in this kind of game? And especially, I look at guys like, I'm interested to see how you feel about this too, because I was thinking about this last game. I'm looking for guys like Keyshawn Faisal to play a big point in this game, especially on the glass and defending a guy like Nate Watson, right? Yeah. And especially because I think last game, I see in him like that struggle to really establish like that, because I feel like in the Creighton offense, when you're that backup big that's out there to like come and, you know, set the screens, roll hard, run the floor, it's sometimes difficult to get in a rhythm. And I feel like he's kind of in that right now, where he's struggling to find a rhythm. A little bit up and down. As a backup big, because I felt like early on it was a lot easier, and because he's such a good athlete, it's very easy to impose your will on some of those teams that played in the non-conference. But now he's really trying to find, like, I guess, his niche. So I'm interested to see where he's get like where his impact will really be for this team, whether it's defensively. But I think we'll figure out a lot from a game like this, like, because this is a game he can have a significant impact on. Yeah.
Xavier's next on our list. They're just doing their thing, man. 12-2, 2-1 in the league. I think their only loss is to Nova on the road. They got 3 quad 1 wins, and they just went to Hinkle, which that's a fun little rivalry, because, like, I don't know, there's like a big brother, little brother dynamic going on there, where like Xavier just like kind of punks Butler a little bit, and Butler fans hate it, but Xavier fans love beating their ass. So like I don't know. That's always a fun little game, a little underrated game, I think. But yeah, Xavier went in there and did their thing, man. Like Adam Kunkel had 25 points, hit 4 threes. Like he lit them up. Like and Butler just, I don't know. They got the win over DePaul, so that was big for just getting a win over DePaul because when you play DePaul at home, you got to beat them. So that's step one of being a good Big East team.
Yeah, actually,
but I don't know, man. I think they're gonna get buried a little bit. They just don't look great. Like I think
Xavier?
No, Butler.
Oh, okay.
So like, you know what I mean? Like I don't know if they're gonna be able to beat who they need to beat to get to like the top half of the league. They're just
agreed.
They're just overmatched. It looks like, and I just don't know if there's any answers there. I feel a lot differently about them now than I did going into the year. So I don't know. Xavier had an easy time. It looks like.
My thing with nothing Butler does looks easy. Like nothing.
Yeah, right. It's like
it looks like everything that you're trying to get is very difficult. And like I noticed it even just if you look at their time of possession, just like the average time of possession, I would put money on they probably lead the league or not lead the league. Like time they go into the shot clock without putting up a shot because I don't think they know what their best shot is.
Yeah.
Like, could you tell me what Butler's best shot is? Because I'm like, when I look at their team, I look at their roster and I can't think of like, I look at every other team and I can think of the most high percentage shot for that team.
Mm-hmm.
Butler, I'm like, in a half court even. I'm not saying a transition layup.
Yeah, Butler's 347th in the country in adjusted tempo.
Yeah.
So Villanova's actually still slower than that. But that's because Villanova's deliberate though. Like they have the ability.
It's
like Butler. I'm not sure it's deliberate. Like we're right. Like that. It looks difficult. It looks like they're struggling to score. Like
because what they're good at. Especially the alarm to me went off when I was watching the DePaul game, and I saw them like get into the paint for like twice. And guys were like hesitating whether they didn't know whether to take a floater, a jumper, or kick it out to the. And I'm like, yeah, this is a team that doesn't even know what shots they really want to take. And they were putting them up.
I feel like dumb that I can't even answer that question. Like, what does Butler want offensively? I'm not sure. I'm not.
And I think that's their problem.
Yeah, because even if I said like they want to get into the paint, that's a little bit like too simple, right? Like, what are they looking for when they get there? Are they looking for, like you said, are they looking for floaters? Are they trying to get the rim? Are they trying to get NZ and Golden touches? Like, and if that's the case, why? Because those guys aren't really like, upper echelon Big East bigs, right?
Don't shoot a great. They don't even shoot a great percentage from there. Like,
that's a good question. I'm not sure because they don't even really, even if Aaron Thompson can get in there and, spray or find a little drop off to the big guys, right? Like, I don't even know if there's enough pieces around him for him to do that on a consistent basis. Like if you plug the lane on Butler, like, and just make them play over the top of you, it feels like that's a pretty easy recipe for success against them, like, or at least, and even if they do get going offensively to some degree, like you can match it because you have more firepower than them. Most teams would, right?
They're the one team I really couldn't tell you what their best shot is, or like if it was, because think about it. Late game, you down 1. You're Butler. What are you
looking for?
Yeah. Who are you going to? What's your play? I had no idea.
And you know what? That's a part of that's like part of that could be weaponized for them because like if you're a defense,
right.
Okay,
Good point.
Who do we stop? But they also don't have a reliable like big game. I'm gonna win this. Like a Kamar Baldwin. When they had Kamar Baldwin, like everybody knew the ball was going to Baldwin, but he was just such a gamer. It was like, it doesn't matter if it's coming to me.
Yeah.
I can do it over a double team, triple team, it's whatever.
Yeah. And he had the crazy release. Like he had a go-to, he was going to stop on it and pull up his release. Doesn't matter if you were there because it's like, they don't have anybody who I'm like, no, he'll get a bucket.
Mm-hmm.
No.
It goes back to one of the things we said like earlier this year. It's like when you look at who are the teams every year who are contending for the Big East title and kind of like carrying the flag for the Big East on a season by season basis. Like whoever it is, if it's a different group of teams, regardless, like it's always more. It always leans more to them being how good. It always leans more to what their ceiling is offensively, doesn't it? You know
Absolutely.
what I mean?
Absolutely.
So yeah, like when you're trying to map out like what's Butler capable of in the Big East this year, them having a pretty like low offensive ceiling and us having a bunch of questions about who their go-to guys are is like
says a lot.
It's a problem right now. We should already know like what they want, and we don't, and that's kind of an issue. Like I don't know how many more wins they're gonna find in this league if they don't have. Like
they're gonna struggle.
Yeah,
they're gonna struggle.
It's just I just don't like it. I just feel differently about it. I don't know.
Yeah, no, they're gonna struggle this year for sure. But Xavier, though, on the other hand, Xavier
on the other hand,
because I thought you were trying to tell me Xavier is not impressive. Xavier, I do find very impressive.
They look good.
They have put together some really nice wins. I think the hesitancy I had at the beginning of the year was Scruggs kind of being their primary ball handler,
which he still is.
Yep, I am.
But DeJuan Odom's playing a lot better. Like so, there's that. They can do things from a matchup standpoint there, where like if Odom's in the game, they can put Scruggs off the ball and things like that. But
and who's the other kid too? I'm forgetting his name right now.
I don't even know. Do they have a other one? I think most of the guys are wing players. But yeah,
Kobe Jones, I thought was gonna. He played well in non-conference, but he threw up some duds. I think he'll play better. I think he'll play better as the Big East season goes on. I think he's finding his footing for that team. Kind of hard, like I was saying, with Scruggs being that primary ball handler. But I think now that they've kind of just made that their identity and kind of just been like, yeah, we're going to let Scruggs create. And if he can create 25 for Adam Kunkel, then so be it. So that's kind of that's kind of what they're going to live and die by. But that's my point. Like, that's a team that you're like, okay, I see what they are, because offensively, you at least get what they're trying to do.
Yeah. I mean, like Fremantle and Nunji that's a rare combination, because not many teams in the league have that level of production at those positions, especially with the way they play. Like, and both of them have the ability to step out and shoot threes. Like, that's the other part of it. Like, they're versatile. They seem more like traditional bigs, but they have some versatility to their game, and then they're just monsters inside. You know what I mean? Like, they're tough to deal with. So Xavier is weird because they I don't know. They're boring in a good way. Like, they're just reliable. Like, that they're going to be a tough out every single night, and that most nights they'll be the most talented team on the floor at multiple positions. So yeah, they're probably going to always be at the top this year. Like, they probably won't. They're probably easily a top 3 Big East team this year. You know what I mean?
I think that was a good way to put it, because they don't have the most exciting dudes, but they have the most solid dudes.
Yes, exactly.
They definitely have the most solid.
I'm not sure any of them are going to win Big East Player of the Year. But
no, exactly.
I bet you they're going to rack up a bunch of wins anyway.
They'll rack up a bunch of wins because they have Nunji and Fremantle are boring basketball players, but they are so reliable.
And Nate Johnson is just like a sharpshooter. Kobe Jones is that dude like who can just get buckets in different ways. Good playmaker with good size. And then Scruggs is your unicorn, right? He's like, he looks like he should be playing the 2 or the 3, but you got him playing the 1. And, he's 6'5", 6'4". Like, he can defensively, he can create problems for your point guard. And, he's just solid enough on that end of the floor for himself to make his team, operate efficiently. Like, and then you got Kunkel, who's just like, this dude just running around the floor waiting to catch and shoot all night. And then
now you got me.
Yeah, and then DeJuan Odom coming off the bench with his athleticism. It's like they've got dudes all over the place, like they're a well put together squad.
I'm excited. You got me hyped for the Creighton game now.
Creighton's got to go. That's a Saturday morning game.
That one's
like 11 a.m.
Saturday morning, 11 January 15th.
How do you feel about an 11 a.m. tip at Cintas? How do you like that?
I absolutely love it. I love Cintas.
You do love Cintas.
Cintas is like one of my favorites.
You're sick in the head that way.
I don't know why. Yeah. Maybe because I saw Bill Murray freshman year.
Okay. All right. Starstruck. You're a little starstruck.
Nah. I do like it. It's a fun because it's just such a modern arena. It's a fun place to play.
Yeah.
I think I've said this before on this podcast though, because it's the crowds behind you. So after you win, which we did my freshman year, you get to turn around, wave to all the people that were talking shit all game.
Thank you.
And go home.
You got to give him that Caitlin Clark, like, come on, bring it.
Exactly. Oh, that was great. How great nice? Was that?
Isn't she a badass?
It's a nice bow.
She's bad.
She's bad because I love the way she talks to the refs too, because the refs will be like trying to be like, don't, and I'm like, and she'll just be, I don't know what she's saying, but she's like, come on, and she probably saying something along, come on, if in the men's game they do this all the time, let me rock, like, come on, like relax, like let me talk my junk, like
hey, I'm all for it. Like she almost dropped a triple double with a 30-piece, like you can talk.
Ref was trying to be like, yo, calm down. What?
Talk all that.
I would have been like, go to the scorebook and look at my stat line. Tell me to calm down.
I just tried. I'm at 31 right now. What are you talking about? 12 dimes. You see this stuff? Get out of my face. Yeah, she's nice. Okay. Who's next? We talk about Nova yet? Seton Hall. Seton Hall just beat UConn. Oh my god, that game was insane.
Oh, we have to.
Oh my god, we should have done the whole podcast on that game.
Can we? You want to start with UConn,
dude? No, I hate. I'm hating on UConn right now.
Same. All right, we'll get there then.
Like Seton Hall though, like
there we go.
You know what I like best about that win is like when UConn got back in the league, they started trying to be like bullies again, and they picked on their old like Providence and Seton Hall, like they identified those two as like the little brothers of the Big East, because that's what they were when UConn was like.
They were like, oh, let's pick the two. Well, besides St. John's, let's pick the two closest schools to like try to bully. What?
Yeah, and the funny part is like Providence went into UConn and beat them first game of the Big East, and then Seton Hall does it right here. It's like it's a little bit funny to me that they tried to flex on those two like right away, and then the results aren't. I don't know, dude. I just get this Husker football vibe out of UConn right now. Like they talk too much. They haven't like backed it up enough, and it's cracking me up because I'm like, are you gonna start backing it up at some point, or is this just who you are? Like, is this what the Big East warned us about? Like, we don't want UConn back because they just make a bunch of noise and then they just do this shit, or like when does the winning start? I guess is my question. Like when do they start?
I'm gonna start with Seton Hall before I have to make my go.
That's right.
Before I have to talk about UConn. But so Seton Hall, again, like offensively, we're talking about go to a shot you want.
Mm-hmm.
Seton Hall has shots they want from multiple guys.
Yeah.
Jared Rhoden's playing crazy this year. Bryce Aikens found his niche with this team, and everyone's falling in line. Like they seem to have a solid. They have pieces. They have really good pieces that work with each other. I think of any team, I'm the most impressed with how they've gelled, like how all their pieces have kind of gone together. I didn't know how that was going to work. I think
your boy Bryce was nasty. 22-7.
Bryce has been nasty. Killing it. Yeah. Bryce has been killing. I did not think he would have this much success this early on.
Yeah.
I thought he would get into a groove, but the fact that he's coming out in it is huge for them. I think it's going to pay dividends for them going into like tournament play, because they'll have, having a reliable ball handler period is just huge in the Big East.
And how about Kadari Richmond had a career high 27? Like that was like his best game of his life right there. It's like that's what I'm saying.
So that's what I mean. They got the pieces.
They got dudes all over. Then you still have Miles Kale and Roden, like you said. Yeah,
exactly. Miles Kale, Roden on the wings. Like they have the pieces to be a very good Big East team that could potentially win that tournament, I think. But let's talk about UConn. UConn.
You just want to switch right away? You're like, Seton Hall is, you don't want to mention.
No, I gave Seton Hall high praise. Like I'm giving them high praise as a team that I think they can contend for a Big East. Like from what I've seen out of them, they are a dangerous team that can win the Big East, and win the Big East tournament for sure. I'll give them that.
Yeah, I'm not really sure, because like Nova went in there and beat them already, and then they already have a loss to Providence. But yeah, it's like hard to disagree with you because I think they're gonna get better. You know,
they're legit. I think they're like of the teams.
Bryce
that
staying
are
healthy is important. That dude
very important.
He hasn't had one season where he stayed healthy. So I'm still waiting. I'm like, is he gonna actually manage it? If he stays healthy this whole year, though, I think they're gonna get a lot better as the year goes.
Definitely. I'm glad you brought that up because they have the biggest if too. Because like I think if one of their pieces goes down, they are the most impacted by just one piece going down more than any other team. Like even a Miles Kale goes down, that's not the same team. Jared Roden goes down, not the same team at all. Like those three, I think specifically. But yeah, they're definitely where they are now. Definitely only getting better, and if they can stay healthy, one of the better teams and a legit team.
Yeah, I'm rocking with that.
And now let's talk about you.
You know what? I like that they talk. That's the other part of it. That's the tough part of it for me is I love trash talk. So I like that they do that like unapologetically. I love that part of them. But damn, dude, you got to win too. Like you can't just talk and lose. Last year they talked so much. Even just the Creighton game. They played Creighton 3 times and they talked so much shit. And they lost all 3 games.
I'm gonna say this one time.
They went 0-3. They came in like, all right, it's our league again now. They went 0-3 against Creighton. Like,
I came to this conclusion yesterday. UConn are some frauds. That's it. They're just some frauds.
Oh, you're going to bring out the F word.
There's some frauds. They are. They taught this, but it's the play. I don't even. Let's take the talk aside and all of like we're going if Nova doesn't win, it's going to be us. Take the talk aside. The way that they play is so like not bully. That I'm like, I don't
Doesn't it feel like they're playing like a 5-on-5 on the blacktop, like where it's just like
they play like a bad open gym team.
Yeah.
Like, you know, open gym team that's like, all right, you shoot this time, I'll shoot next time. You shoot this time, I'll shoot. Like, and everyone's taking turns like trying to get theirs. And I'm like, how is this sustainable? No one's gonna win a game playing like this. They have none. Tell me, I'm watching the game and I'm like, if I was playing on this team, I would be so frustrated. How do you get in a rhythm? How? What? No player on their team has gotten into a shooting rhythm all year long. Maybe some have hit 2 shots back to back. Cool, because they go to a hot hand. They do that, obviously. But they don't have there's no rhythm. It's not like, oh, we're looking for this corner 3, this guy here. No, because I don't think they can shoot it that well. Definitely can't shoot the 3 ball that well. I think they're inconsistent with that. And I don't know what I don't know what they're like. They don't impose offensively. Like no one I'm scared is gonna catch it on the block, make a move, score. Like, and that's what I thought they were gonna be. Or this guy's gonna dunk on me. I don't think some of those dudes who can dunk on you have the coordination to in a game. So I don't know. They might be some frauds, and I think so. They might be, and I think so. I don't think the skill's not adding up to the hype. It's not. What I'm seeing isn't adding up to the hype.
The thing that's tough too is like they're supposed to be tougher defensively, I thought. Like,
oh, they're supposed to be way tougher.
There's
open doors. I saw multiple open doors in that game, in their last game.
I thought they were supposed to be hell on earth to score against. And I'm like, Marquette had good stretches against them. Seton Hall put up like well over 1 point per possession against them. You know, like I just don't. The Auburn game was a shootout. Even though they won that game, it was like that. Like you didn't stop shit in that game. They didn't stop.
And that's the thing. That's what I think they play.
I'm just like, when do you turn into this like this team that's like where's the hellacious defense at? Like where's that? I don't think they know what. I thought that's who they were. I thought they were supposed to be like this big physical. Like Providence on steroids type of team where it's just like if you get 40, like thank heaven, you know what I mean? Like where is that at?
I don't think they know what that means in the Big East yet. I don't. And maybe last year
because they're not built for it yet. You don't think?
Not yet. Well, they haven't. Mind you. All right. Let's disclaimer here. Let's remember that last year was the COVID season, so there was no fans. So I don't think UConn got a taste of what it was like to play in the Big East yet. Yeah, you played the Big East teams for sure, but you didn't play in the environments. You didn't play in like when it was like, I don't know. I just feel like it's different now.
You don't think they're reacclimated yet, is what you're saying?
Not yet. No, it's going to take them some time too. I don't think it's going to take them.
But you already called them frauds though. So like, are we giving them a pass? Or are we calling them frauds? What are we doing?
No, I called them frauds. I say things and I stand on them. Okay, I wouldn't have said that if I'm not going to stand on them. I'm stand.
I was making sure. Yeah,
there's some frauds. I really don't think they can shoot the ball consistently. Like they haven't shown me enough.
Like it'll be there sometimes, but it won't be there when it. I just the other part of it is too. Like they're like go to, we need a bucket here, bad, like execution, whatever you want to call that, is a mess. You know what I mean? Like that, it's funny because they'll go, they'll look like gangbusters the whole game, and then it's like, okay, it's a tie game, or we're down one here, or we're down whatever. We need something good, a good look. You know what I mean? They have not been
pull up two at the elbow to pull up two at the elbow. Like, bro, what? This is 2K. What are you doing?
I'm gonna set a side ball screen in front of Seton Hall's bench and like get trapped, spinning around it. I'm trying to spin through it, lose the ball, like shit my pants. Like, what was that? It was like you play this beautiful game where it's like back and forth heavyweight fight, and that's your late game execution. Like,
that's my point. What was going to come of that? Like, why?
I don't even know.
Because the screen was there.
Why would you ever set a side ball screen right there? Like, what do you look at?
That's what I'm saying. Where was he going? Where was the plan? What was the plan?
What was even if you set the screen and like got the advantage? Like, what was happening out of that? Like,
I have no idea. I have no idea where he was going. But
you've shrunk the floor. Seton Hall's defense is loaded up to you. Like, why are you initiating?
They're like, yeah, let's use like a Ja Morant screen up here. Like, this is the NBA.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, so he can get down.
Problems. Yeah.
So he can get downhill, make a euro, and dunk it for the game. What? No, in no world was that going to happen.
You're all not built like that. That's
no.
Yeah, I'm with you. Like that's their problem though. Like same thing as West Virginia. Like that game was like, all right, here's you got the ball and you got to do something with it. You got to get a good look, otherwise you're going to lose.
West Virginia, that game
with those situations, it's like they're just a mess.
That was, to me, their West Virginia game was the game of the bailout shots. They bailed West Virginia out so many possessions. West Virginia played great defense. I'm not going to knock that, but there were so many possessions where it was like they made one more to threes that I was like, oh, you should shoot that. And then they did a one more to a guy who probably, I don't know their shooting percentages. I have no idea, but they were making one more to guys who were just clanking it left and right, or then getting in the paint and then getting in the, like, attacking the closeout, getting in the paint, kicking out to another, just a three that probably West Virginia, from the looks of it, wanted them to take. What do I know? I didn't know that scouting report.
I don't know. They talk though. I like that they talk. I just wish they would win more because it would be fun to, I don't know.
Yeah, there's a bunch.
I just don't think you can talk that much and then constantly fall short. You can't just, because then you're just the team that everybody loves to beat, and you're not the team that like can do anything about it. Like I laughed last year because I know like they talked after they beat DePaul's ass in that Big East quarterfinal, right? And they were talking a mess about like getting that third shot at Creighton back at MSG. It's like they're home away from home, right? Like the Big East tournament is UConn's tournament. And it's like, and then I know the Creighton guys like were motivated by that. Like, okay, we already beat you twice and your boy went off for 40 and we still won. Like, that was like your best night of the year and we still beat you. Like he 40 pieced us and we still won that game. And then here you are talking like, oh, the third time is going to be different. Like it's at MSG. This is our show. Like we run this league. And it's like, I know when Creighton won that game, it was like, I mean, you saw the emotion from like Marcus and all those dudes. That felt like the Big East title game because it was like UConn put so much energy into trying to punk Creighton in that game and they still lost. And it's like, when do you win? When does that happen?
Yeah, but that's also, you got to get, like, because Creighton's just actually been there. Like UConn can say whatever they want about it being their shit, but like in the past like 8 years, who's really been on that MSG floor? Like,
no,
and I know it was like a whole squad that like wasn't even really there the year before, like obviously because we got shut down, but still, like, Creighton has way more of a rep in the Big East over the past 8 years. So why should you talk about UConn? Like, that's my
they don't talk like that. In the past, they don't talk like Creighton belongs. No, like yeah, that's what I mean. It's like, well, why would you? You gotta. I just need you to win. Yeah. I need you to win more. Yeah. I love that you talk.
Win one Big East game.
I love your confidence. I love your swagger. But you got to win more, especially if you're gonna pick on Seton Hall.
It makes it fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you're gonna pick on Seton Hall and Providence as like the little brother, your little brothers in this league, you got to beat them. You just can't. Yeah. You can't catch L's like that if you're gonna talk like they don't belong on your level, right?
Yeah.
Like you can't. Like little brother can't like, beat your ass. Like that's.
Don't say anything. Because like we're what a year past, like Seton Hall, us and Nova split for the like championship. Like my senior year.
Yeah.
What year did Seton Hall win? Like that was whatever year that was. And then Providence has a Big East tournament championship somewhere in there. Yeah, don't come back and call out those teams. Like not like win a Big East game first and then like win a Big East like tournament game first or like be competitive, be a top 3 team in the league before you start saying anything.
Well, that's the other. That's that. Yeah, that's like Seton Hall is 2-2 in the league this year. They were 10-9 last year. 13-5. The 2 years ago, your senior year was where they tied for the league title, but they were 9-9, 10-8, 10-8 the 3 years before. So it's not like if UConn's coming in there saying Seton Hall's little brother to them and Providence's little brother to them, then UConn needs to be like 13-5 or 13-7, 14-6, like 15-5.
Exactly.
You have to like you can't just say that they're not on your level and then not separate yourself from them. You know what I mean?
And then have the same record. Yeah. You can't do that.
Yeah, you can't do that. Yeah.
That's like people. Yeah.
I need to see something from UConn. I'm not saying they're not that team or they won't be that team, but right now they're just like they're more talked than they are.
Nah, even they need to show me a lot more because even if they pulled off, I'm trying to think, even if they beat Creighton once, or beat Nova once, or beat Xavier once, like that doesn't show. I need a string of something that I can believe in for them. I can't. Like they can't give me one good win, and I'm like, okay, they're legit. They're not frauds anymore. No, they're frauds until I have at least 3 games where I can call them not frauds. How about that?
Yeah, I need to see some. I just need to see
because I can't look at 3 of their games and be like, that's a legit team.
All they're giving us right now is excuses, and it's not like they're not credible ones. Yep. Like I understand COVID pauses and injuries and stuff like that. I get it.
Yeah, no, I get it.
You can't always
reasons, but
you can't always never overcome that. Like you got to overcome it.
Yeah, reasons run out.
Yeah. Like Book Knight dropped 40 and you lost to Creighton still. You were healthy. You had him healthy and ready to go at MSG and the J still won. Like you never beat Nova. You just lost to Seton Hall. You lost to Providence at home. That was supposed to never happen ever. Like that was supposed to never happen. They came into the league like, okay, Providence's days of like competing for the top of the league are over now because we recruit the same players and we're better than them. So we'll get all the good players. They'll get all the bad ones. Like that's how they came in talking. And then they can't lose those teams like that. You can't lose those.
Ed Cooley says, psych.
Yeah, like oops.
You thought.
Like that's what thought. Who's next? Let's give Marquette some shine, right? Like they had a good week.
My favorite roller coaster in the Big East. My favorite roller coaster in the Big East. So.
Did we disagree on if we thought DePaul was going to win more games, or did we? I think I was the one who was higher on DePaul, so that didn't age well. That's not going well so far. Yeah. I think you were the one who said. I think you were the one who had Marquette in that little poll, right?
It was Marquette or DePaul.
Yeah, but I think you were I think you were coming from
to,
Marquette's perspective, and I was coming from DePaul's perspective. I'll have to go back and listen, but I'm pretty sure that's how.
I want to look up. I'm good. No, I'll go find how the poll came.
I'm pretty sure Marquette won that poll.
We gotta let the listeners know how it shook out, because I bet a lot of people put on the poll. I think they did. Let's find it. It's a good poll.
I mean, but either way, Marquette had a crazy week. Even though Georgetown was the other team, like Georgetown's probably gonna battle for 10th or 11th at best. Like Marquette's still whipping Providence and Georgetown back to what the fuck?
Well,
My bad. I don't know
welcome back.
Yeah, glad to be back.
It's all good, man.
Yeah,
we love technical difficulties.
A little bit. We expect those on this Scurry and The Scrub.
Mm-hmm. Well, of course.
Yeah, but like I was saying, either way, like Marquette, I don't know. Like I still don't love them because they're just chaos, but
I told you, my favorite roller coaster.
Yeah.
They're gonna be up and down. They're gonna have games where you're like, this is a really bad team. And then you're gonna have games where you're like, oh my God, they're very competitive and this is a good team that they're playing. So they'll be fun to watch. I'll give them that. Give them that.
The other part of it is too, like, I'm not even sure I'll go as far as like this is a really bad team. I just think there'll be moments where it's like, what is this exactly? Like, what's the
right?
Is this the plan? Like, is this what
Probably
they?
A better way to put it.
Is this what they expected to do today? Like, is all this stuff that's happening on the screen right now? Is that like how they prepared? Like,
was that the plan? Yeah.
Is this all?
even their wins, it's like I want to be the reporter after the game. That's like, excuse me, did you guys mean to win that way? And they're gonna be like, nope, not at all. We had no idea. We just put it in the basket more times than the other team.
Mm-hmm. Like we just chased the ball around and tried to do stuff with it when we got it. Yeah, I don't know, but it's hard not to be impressed because like whatever they did to Providence was, like I said, it was embarrassing for Providence. And then I didn't expect Georgetown to win, but I mean, I also didn't expect Marquette to put another whooping on a team right after that. I think I expected like a low point, like where they would come down a little bit and play to Georgetown's level to a degree, and then like maybe win, a 75-70 type of game. But no, they beat their ass again. So that's 2 straight ass whoopings Marquette's laid out there. So it's like, okay, all right, I see you. I see what you're capable of.
See,
and that makes you dangerous because
they're gonna gain momentum, get like one more win, start feeling good about themselves, and go on like a two game losing streak. It'll be awesome. I'm excited.
Yeah, the thing that's exciting about Marquette basketball is like there are some teams that you can tell they're front runners a little bit, and I don't think Marquette's a front running team. I think they have some resiliency to them because they battled back against Creighton and. They've grinded out some wins against like, Illinois, Kansas State, things like that. So, and they didn't lay down for UConn or Xavier when they were chasing the game. So I don't think they're front runners. That's probably not the best way to put it. But when they do start front running, it gets out of hand. You know what I mean? Like they start feeling themselves and it looks real fun. They look like that team has like a, when things are going well for them, they really turn it on. Like that's the only way I can describe it, I guess. I don't know if that makes sense.
When they're good, they're good. When they're bad, they're bad. I don't know. I guess that's the best analogy I can give you for them.
It's weird to have a roller coaster team though, right? Like,
oh, it's fun. We haven't had one.
Have you ever been on a roller coaster team? In your even going back to like high school AAU? I don't even know what it would be like.
AAU, I've definitely been on some roller coaster teams.
Okay.
When I was playing for Expressions, we were definitely a roller coaster team where when we were in the EY, my first year in the EYBL, I was on a roller coaster team where it was like.
So what's that like emotionally? Like when you don't even know who you are when you show up until it starts.
Well, that's the thing. Yeah, it's tough because we would go into weekends like, you play like 3 games, and so we would always like be like at the beginning of the year, like we would win like 2-1, 2-1, and then you're like, oh, we're not that good, and so then you just start like winning 1 consistently. And then by the end of the year, you're like, oh, if we could just get 1, because so you go into it and you're like, you just want to get that 1, and you want it to be the first one, so you get momentum. But usually it's just that last game. You like, man, let's just get 1, man, please. Like, and so it's really just you have to like everything.
You are like a day at a time team because you don't know who you're.
It takes too much. It takes too much for everything to click.
Okay.
When it takes too much for everything to click, that's not good.
So there is you don't get on a roll. You just take it a day at a time. You're like, let's see who we are today. And
yep. And it's awful. It's awful. Especially when you're playing teams who know damn well who they are.
Yeah.
You're like, damn, y'all got a point guard, a scoring wing, a defensive wing, a scoring big and defensive big. Damn, we're done.
An identity, and that looks fun.
Yeah. It's over for us, man. But it was
plan to what you're doing.
I don't know. But it was like when you're on a roller coaster team, it's just those games, like you're saying, where you start off hot.
Yeah.
You're just like, let's keep it. One of your boys hits 3 threes, start the game. You're like, we're winning this game. Let's go. You figure it out. But it's not a fun place to be. It's much more fun to be on a team with an identity.
I don't really want to talk about Georgetown. I think they suck. Let's talk about DePaul though, because I'm not sure they suck.
They don't suck.
They've had a tough.
I'm glad you said it.
They've had a tough like start to it. First of all, they haven't been like totally 100% available or healthy, whatever you want to put it. Like, but they had to go. They had to go to Hinkle, and it was like it was a toss-up game. Like they had a chance to win it, and just didn't. And then they obviously got whipped by Providence and Nova at home. So that's Providence and Nova, but it's also at home. Like, I don't know.
Do you know what their first scheduled Big East game was supposed to be?
Creighton, wasn't it?
At home.
Yeah. I think that was their first supposed to be. Let's go back and
honestly, I don't know. Yeah, and that's why I'm asking, because I actually feel bad for DePaul in the sense that I don't think they would have won their first game if it would have even been Creighton, but I think that this team would have benefited from having their first Big East game be a home game, if that makes any sense. I just think that they being a team that's so, I think, new to the Big East, in a sense that it's just like new coach, new players, a lot of transfers, all that.
Mm-hmm.
I think they would have really benefited from having a home game to kind of get their feet under them after having a successful non-conference. I don't think they would have won, like I said. I think they would have felt really good about themselves, though. I think they would have been competitive for a half and felt much better about themselves going into Big East play than having to start with the schedule that they did.
Yeah, the game's moved off the Big East schedule, but I'm pretty sure that game was supposed to be the 21st, and then Creighton was going to go on break, and then they were going to come back and play Georgetown on the 28th. So, yeah, it was supposed to be Creighton at home. And so Creighton was going to come in after that Villanova win. I don't think DePaul would have won that either, but I don't know. Yeah. It's definitely been it's been tough though. So they would have either had Creighton at home, then they've gone to Hinkle, then they've had Providence and Nova at home, who you could argue are the top 2 teams in the league right now, along with Xavier being like if you want to do top 3. So that's not like you don't fault them for being 0-3 in those games, right? Like,
no,
that's tough.
Can't.
But I also need to see them win again because it's been too long now. When's the last time? I'm trying to think when the last time they won a game. Let me see. It was probably Louisville, wasn't it?
See, this is adding to my theory. I'm like, they're gonna mess around, beat UConn, Beat Marquette. Beat Marquette.
Bro, if you thought we were too mean to UConn tonight, if they lose to DePaul, we're gonna get nasty.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, they can't.
No,
they,
I believe
they can't.
I believe DePaul can pull some. DePaul will beat Marquette or UConn. One of the two they will. Mark my words. That's my hot take of the podcast.
Okay. Yeah,
I'll let everyone know. I'll put out my live bet when I decide I want to bet on DePaul.
Oh shit! Hold up. There's a loss to St. John's in here too. I'm messed up. DePaul hasn't won a game since December 14th. So we're going on like a full month where they haven't even experienced a win yet.
Ooh,
and so since they beat UIC in a close game, who like I don't think UIC is very good. And then they lost to Butler close. They got whipped at Providence. They lost to St. John's on the road close. And then they lost to Nova. Their next game is tomorrow night at Marquette. And then it's tomorrow night at Marquette. And then they have, oh, Jesus Christ, look at this. Hold up. So they play Marquette tomorrow night on the road, who Marquette's been kicking teams' ass, right? If they don't win that, their next 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, their next 6 games are Seton Hall, Xavier, Creighton, Villanova, UConn, Xavier. Dude, they might be.
Who made this schedule? This poor team.
They're 0-4 already. If they don't win tomorrow, they're going to be 0-11.
And then that leaves them with what?
And then they'll have Georgetown. Dude, I don't even know. Dude, they'll have Georgetown, Providence on the road. Then they'll have Butler at home. Then they'll have Creighton, Seton Hall. Then they'll have Georgetown, St. John's, Marquette again, and then they'll have UConn to end it. Dude, that's
I only give them the potential for
that's like
7 more wins. I give them potential. I give them the potential for 7 wins now all season.
Dude, they're not winning 7 games.
Oh, what a poor team.
That's
poor
that 6 game stretch is like that's disgusting.
That's why I'm like, who made the schedule for this?
Who did that to them?
No one wanted them to have any type of. They didn't want them to feel good at all this year. Jeez.
There's not even like a major break. I guess there's a break between Seton Hall and Xavier, but all those games are like staggered. Jesus, that's bad, man. They're not gonna. Yeah, they should have. Yeah, they're in trouble. They're in trouble. Sorry. Yeah, I might have jumped the gun on DePaul. They're gonna have some problems.
They're in big trouble.
Big trouble. But how about St. John's though? Because remember we were. I mean, St. John's. They got 0 quad 1 wins already, Jordan. Like none.
Yeah. Well, this goes back to our previous point. This goes back to MSG. Who makes Kansas. This goes back to who makes their non-conference schedule do better.
Yeah,
do better. Because it's not doing anything for them. Mm-hmm. And I don't think they're going to do anything for themselves in the Big East. I don't know.
Let's see what their team. I got to see what their schedule looks like because they got to get on a roll. Because I mean, right now they're they beat DePaul at home at Carnesecca, but that's kind of again, that's the thing that everybody is supposed to do to just get off to the, it's like a launching pad. Beat DePaul at home.
At Connecticut tomorrow.
Are they really? No.
Or Wednesday at Connecticut Wednesday. Yeah. So
they're already
Wednesday.
So they're 1-1 in conference. They lost to Providence. They beat DePaul at home. They had a bunch of games postponed. So yeah, they got UConn. Then they're at home against Georgetown. Then oh god.
Yeah.
Then they got Creighton, Seton Hall twice, Villanova, Providence. Yeah. And then they're at Georgetown and Butler. Then they got Villanova, UConn, Xavier again. That's damn, man. St. John's and DePaul got it rough.
Yeah, St. John's and DePaul, man. Who made their schedule?
Someone in the league was like, you're going to play all the good.
Someone really doesn't like them.
They're going to be done with.
Yeah, so if they don't get this UConn one, they got Georgetown, and then good luck.
They're going to be done with UConn, Nova.
They have a little stretch here in the middle that's like, at least they got like not really.
They're going to be done with UConn, Nova, Seton Hall, and Providence before Valentine's Day. Damn. That's a brutal opening stretch.
That February 1st to Valentine's Day for them is going to be a gauntlet.
Yeah. So yeah, they got no quad. But this was a team that they thought they had an NCAA tournament team this year. Champagny came back. Posh Alexander was in his second year. They had a bunch of transfers, but they talked like it was all addition by subtraction, and that they had brought in.
I don't know what.
But then
who said they thought they were NCAA? I could have told.
Yeah, yeah. No, I'm pretty sure I can find you like 50 articles that say it.
Well, I definitely know the Julian Champagny hype. That was like, this is the best pro prospect in the conference. I was hearing all that.
Yeah.
I did not think at any point that this roster built around him was going to do anything worth talking about.
Really? So you don't think the most talented dude in the Big East should be on a NCAA tournament team?
I do think he should be.
So this is a disappointment. Then from that perspective, St. John's has laid an egg so far.
Yeah, I thought they were,
because we're at January. We're at January 10th. They have no quad 1 wins. Let's see what their whole resume looks like. I bet you their quad 2 looks pretty shitty too.
Let's actually, no, I'll look it up right here. Julian Champagny's like high this season, high points per game.
I love how we're hosting this during the national championship game, which I'm not watching for reasons of credibility. I'm boycotting. All right, NET cheat sheet for St. John's.
The SEC title round 2. That's what
yeah,
oh,
yeah.
He's talking about the second scrimmage, the second pro draft scrimmage.
Dude, this schedule is dog trash. Look at this thing. So they went. Oh, they're 0-3 against quad 1. They're 1-0 against quad 2. They've played 4 games in the top 2 quadrants. That's garbage.
This is like,
and then Pitt right now is a quad 4 loss. Like, they're not even close. They're not even close.
Yo, they only beat St. Francis Brooklyn, which I know is a good team at home. Only beat them by 6.
Dude, they need like how many wins are they over like Xavier, Villanova, UConn, Seton Hall, Providence away right now? Like, they need to beat those teams like each of them once, right? Don't they?
Oh yeah, they have to.
They have to beat each of those teams once, and they have to clean up against the rest of the league. Otherwise, they might not even make the NIT.
To even be talked about, yeah.
Yeah. They have so much work to do. They're not even close to the conversation right now.
No.
Your best win's Monmouth? That's it? A 5-point win over Monmouth at home? That's their best win?
Oof.
Dude, no way.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I didn't take notes before this show. People are, in case people haven't noticed, that we're flying by with we're putting.
Yeah, and we're like just so surprised.
We're like stunning ourselves as we
go. We're actually very surprised with some of these.
We usually take better.
Some of these teams' records, for sure.
We usually take better notes. We strung this together. We missed each other, but yeah.
No, we missed this. We needed this.
Yeah.
So Happy New Year, by the way, everyone.
Yeah, you too, sir. Oh, you're not wishing to me. You're wishing everybody else.
No, I said Happy New Year to you. Right. The force is strong with you.
That's right. Yeah, dude, they're not even close. They're not even anywhere near the conversation.
No,
that's pretty bad. I think, because I think they came back. I don't think Champagny came back to be like.
They're 1-1. They're 1-1 in conference. Yeah. Is less impressive than Marquette's 2-3. Yeah. Marquette's a better team right now.
Yes. Yeah. By a long stretch.
Marquette and UConn. I'll say that. Even though UConn's some frauds. I don't even know what that makes St. John's.
Wow. Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Jeez.
I
think the bottom of the pack is going to – all right. I don't know what the top of the pack is going to look like.
Are the worst
for later discussion?
Are the worst 4 teams? We know where they are.
I'll give you. I think that's a good way to wrap up. Yeah. Like, I'll give you my worst 4 in order. So worst is going to be DePaul. Second worst, I'm going to go Georgetown. Then it's going to be Butler, and then St. John's. Like those are your 4 worst teams in the Big East
Okay.
from where I sit.
That's tough to argue. Those are definitely the worst 4 teams. I just don't know about the order. But yeah, that's feels like that's a solidified bottom 4 right there.
So we have the bottom of the pack solidified here on Scurry.
we
don't know who will win. We don't know your top 4, but we know your bottom 4. We got that
bottom 4. All right, so now it's time to ask how much women's basketball you watched in the last, because this is January 1st to the 10th.
I watched the Creighton UConn game.
Okay.
I watched that.
Hey, that's a step up in
had to see if my squad would pull off the upset on the East Coast. They were on East Coast time too.
That's right.
Made it real easy. But yeah, close game.
So
I have a question though, actually, because from watching that game, you'll definitely know the answer to this one. What's up with the UConn women's team? Because I'm hearing the rumors that Paige might not come back at all, like to play, because they're just like there's a lot of girls transferring from that team. Is this true? I heard there's mad transfers and the team is like not really locked into this season.
You're just getting into like nasty rumors now, aren't you? Like,
oh yeah.
You're just getting reckless with your mic over here.
Oh yeah, no, I'm hearing. You got me tuned into like women's Big East basketball now.
Oh okay.
And so I'm hearing that there's a lot going on with the UConn women's situation.
Well, there's definitely a lot going on. I haven't heard any of that stuff, but I don't know.
Okay.
I would be really surprised.
I got some sources then.
Sources. You might.
Okay.
I'm not discounting
check back with my sources.
Yeah. The only thing I heard about her like potentially not coming back this year is because of the injury. Like it was originally 6 to 8 weeks, and then she had like surgery, which added 6 to 8 weeks to that. So at that point, you're looking like best case scenario is like mid-February, and at that point, you're like, can she even ramp up in time to be ready for the NCAA tournament? You know what I mean? Or should she just shut it down and get ready for next year? I don't think she's not draft eligible until after her junior year.
Okay.
So the way the WNBA works is like you either have to just be 21 or 3 years in college, whichever one comes first, I think is how it works.
Got it.
So yeah, she's got years left of college, plural. So yeah.
Yeah, but I saw the squad put up a good fight.
I felt like, it was I thought Creighton did a good enough job defensively. I just think, they were 5 of 25 from 3. Like you got to knock down a few more of those to give yourself a chance, especially when like the free throw disparity was what it was like. And I don't know, like UConn had an advantage inside, but like you just can't be even across the board with them, like both teams hit 5 threes. UConn got to the free throw line more, Creighton turned it over more. So it's like you have to hit like 8 to 9 to 10 threes essentially and hold them to like 5 or so. You know what I mean? They just didn't knock down shots.
Yeah. My biggest takeaway was I just thought that, especially, I like how it's quarters. It's easier to remember when it's 4 quarters. You can remember. Yeah, I like quarters so much better. You can remember certain points a lot easier because it's hard to remember 20 whole minutes of like which point, but you're like, oh, quarters. It's like each minute mark. Anyway, I thought that what that game came down to was just at the end there, or when it was close early on, I think it was just Creighton. I don't know, because shots weren't falling, I think early on or at the beginning, first quarter, second quarter, while it was still close, they kind of were just doubting it and never like got into any type of rhythm and felt good. I just felt like they never felt good on the offensive end. Like there was times when they made good plays for sure. They caught them lacking a few times, but I just felt like there was no swagger to it, and to beat a team like UConn, they would have had to gotten in a rhythm and been like, oh, we're doing this now. This is us. So
Yeah, I do wonder if
Yeah,
some of that
that
was
was my
like,
takeaway.
I do wonder if UConn's size played a factor in like that intimidation. You know what I mean? Like they're just the biggest team Creighton's played, right? So, nothing was easy, for most of the shot clock essentially. So, yeah, I don't know, but I think this is like the thing that you take away from that is like I think Creighton was disappointed. It sounds like in that game, in losing that game, which is, I think that's encouraging because
Very.
normally, I think normally you'd go on the road at UConn and lose by 8 and be like, oh wow, we're really good. Like we only lost to 8 at UConn. Like that's crazy. That's a good result, right? Like you would take that as a positive and carry that over and be like, hey, we can build confidence off of that. But I think that they're past that point now, which I think is the mark of a good team that could possibly be great, because like they just losing by 8 at UConn was not enough. And I think there's like the fact that they're not satisfied by that is something that they can build off to even a greater degree, because that means they expected to win.
Yeah.
And I just
think
don't know.
the fact that they
I just don't
like
know how many teams go into UConn expecting to win. So
that's what I mean. I think the fact that they felt like they should have won the game like says a lot in itself, because if you're upset that you lost to that team, that means you felt like at all points in the game you had a chance to win, which is very encouraging coming from this team.
Yeah, and especially because this team's pretty young for the most part. Like, the Molly Mogensen's the backup point guard is a sophomore. Emma Ronsick, Morgan Malley are both sophomores. Mallory Brake's a sophomore. Jamie Horan's a sophomore. Lauren Jensen, best 3-point shooter on the team, is a sophomore. Carly Batchelor, who's just like having a sort of a breakout year, is a junior, but last year she was injured for most of the season. So essentially she's in her second year of playing, basically. So like there's a lot of youth on this team that, like, I don't know how close they are to their ceilings right now, but there's still room for improvement for them as a group, as a whole. And I think, I think UConn's going to get better too, because they're not at full strength and they were coming off of a pause. So UConn's going to get better, but I also think Creighton's going to get better. Like there's still room to chase that team a little bit. And I think, right now there's like, your UConn's clearly the best team in the league. Creighton's 5-1, DePaul's 4-0. So, I think that's a clear top 3 though. And I don't know if coming into the year, people thought that Creighton belonged in that conversation, but I think they are solidified in it now. Like they beat Marquette soundly, and Seton Hall and St. John's are 2 up and down. And then Villanova didn't have Maddie Segrist for a little bit. So, they took some losses. So yeah, right now I just think, I don't know. I think the top 4 is UConn, DePaul / Creighton, and then Villanova. And I think that's a surprise. Like I think people thought Creighton would probably be in the 5, 6, 7 range, and I think they're closer to 2 than they are to 5 right now.
Well, because they were projected 5.
I think they were projected 6th. Let me check. Yep, 6th.
So what you're saying is no one thought that on. Well, I'll say no one thought coming into the new year that both Creighton men's and women's would be top 3 in both men's and women's basketball.
Well, they're not. Yeah, that statement is true, but they're also not. What?
Top 3? We were.
The men are top 3? We just talked about this.
We were.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
I said coming into the new year.
They played one game. You're kidding me.
So we were still top 3 technically.
Yeah, that's true. You were leading the league. Okay, they were leading the league. The men were.
Technically. Thank you. Yeah. That's all I'm trying to say.
I think what I saw, I just retweeted a graphic earlier. Let me see what it is. I think it's like, hold up, let me find it. Oh yeah, there's only 34 D1 teams that have a men's and women's program with 10+ wins. Creighton's one of them.
Yup.
So there's something to brag about, right?
There we go.
It's a surprise to some degree. Yeah.
What's some more things? You got to let the Creighton fans brag about more things. That's how we should end it. What else
to brag about more things? Oh, well, I mean, they're playing Seton Hall. The women are playing Seton Hall and St. John's at home this weekend. So I mean, I think Omaha fans love beating the East Coast team. So you're gonna get the New Yorkers in town this weekend.
Yeah,
and honestly,
definitely more fun.
Seton Hall is always a chaos. Like they're a chaos team. Seton Hall is. So if you like watching a chaos team versus a disciplined team like Creighton, that's your battle right there on Friday at 6:30. Go check that out. Honestly, I'm disappointed in the fans so far. They haven't come out for the women's team like they should, in my opinion. Let me just double check this so I can make sure I'm flashing out at people properly.
There we go.
Our Big East women's update isn't. I didn't take any notes for it because Big East women's teams hardly played this week or these last 2 weeks because they've all been on pauses. I think Creighton and DePaul were the only teams that did go on pause like since the new year so far. Just those two. That's crazy.
Of course. I don't know how DePaul did.
I know. All right, let's see. Attendance. So UNO was 879. South Dakota State was 864. Northern Iowa was 792. Georgetown at the CHI was 416. Nova was 581. Arizona State was 735. South Dakota was 1,067, but they also had a lot of South Dakota fans there that night. So, and then Marquette was 986. Y'all need to go out and watch the fucking women's team. What the hell?
Go watch the women's team.
That's
an order.
They're 10-4. They're 5-1 in the Big East. They just played. They just played UConn to single digits. On the road. Okay.
On the road.
They have like 4 kids who can get like 20 on any given night.
Buckets.
They're 29 in the net. So they're a top 30 team.
Top 30.
And they've already beaten 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. They've already beaten 5 top 75 teams.
5, man.
What the fuck y'all waiting for?
Where y'all at? What y'all doing?
Yeah, you need it. And if you got any friends still on campus, you need to tell them too.
No,
students are back.
Period, but I'll send out a tweet or some shit.
Yeah. What's you got some clout? Yeah, tell people.
I ain't got
when do the students get back? Students get back this week, right? They're supposed to be back tomorrow night, right?
I don't even know.
I'm pretty sure.
I done deleted my school email, so I could never get an update from that school ever again.
Yeah. Well, either way, if I see like 17,000 people tomorrow night in mass at CHI, I want to see like 2 in mass for Seton Hall and St. John's at DJ Soul.
Hey, I'll give out some free Scurry and the Scrub gear.
There you go.
To somebody who shows up to the next game. If you listen this deep into the podcast, you show up to the next game, Creighton's game, and you tweet at me during the game with the hashtag Scurry and the Scrub, I will send you a free Scurry Hoops t-shirt.
There we go.
That you got my word.
I think we went a solid 90 minutes. Jordan's sending you free gear, free Scurry and the Scrub. I mean, you're kind of promoting Jordan there. You don't realize you're doing it, but either way. The gear is nice. Show him the gear. There's his hat right behind you. Either way,
we can get you a nice.
It's slick.
Scurry.
Is that a fitted hat too? Is that a fitted hat too?
This is the fitted.
See, yeah, fitted hat.
I can get t-shirts with the logo.
Mm-hmm.
You know, whatever to support my schools.
It's a nice little emblem. It looks like a Spider-Man, like a Spider-Man type of emblem. It's pretty badass. So yeah, free Scurry hoops gear if you go to the women's game. Proof of. Like take a picture, selfie.
Take a picture at the game.
Yeah.
Hashtag Scurry and the Scrub, and you got it. I'll send it out. I'll DM.
I love it.
Get the address. I'll DM whoever it is I see first. Ask for the address. free Scurry Hoops t-shirt coming your way.
I love this. This is great. Yeah. All right. So free Scurry Hoops gear with a selfie at the DJ Sokol Arena on Friday or Sunday. And just hashtag Scurry and the Scrub, and Jordan will send you the gear.
Yes, sir.
Love it. All right, that's a wrap, right?
That's a wrap. Appreciate y'all for listening. It's another Big East Weekend review. Always good to chop it up with you, my man.
Yep.
I love it. We do this.
Thanks everybody for tuning in. If any sponsors are listening, they want to hit us up. We're sponsor free so far, so
we're here.
Yeah, if you want to
let us know
your stuff, let us know.
Just hit up my agent, yo. I don't have an agent. That's a joke. That's a joke. That's a joke. Don't search for my agent because I don't have one. But I just always wanted to say that. Thanks.
We're each other's agents. I represent
exactly.
I represent Jordan. He represents me. So just reach out. Yeah. We're good. Exactly. All right, everybody.
So thanks for listening.
We'll talk to you next week.